Let's make a list. Garlic, snake beans, apple eggplants, fresh and dry chilies, palm sugar, limes, tomatoes, green papaya, fermented fish sauce, MSG, and crab paste. I'm going to make Som Tam, my favourite, Isan style, with fermented fish sauce and crab paste. Let's go. Just assemble all of your veg. Takes no time at all. Crush some garlic. Just going to section up some snake beans into 1-inch lengths. Just chop some tomatoes in half. They're going to get bashed in the mortar and pestle, so you don't have to be fussy. And then you get your papaya. You can use a vegetable peeler. My knife skills weren't as sharp as my knife today. Don't know why, but I've decided to do it with a knife. And then we just start hacking into it. Now you can slice cheeks off the papaya and julienne by hand if you like, but this way you get really cool rustic kind of papaya spaghetti. And it's all different sizes and shapes, and it really does enhance the texture. The other way you can do it is to get a papaya peeler, which I have shown in another video. I'll put a link above to that video if you want to see the papaya peeler. It's very easy to use, but it doesn't give an exciting variation of texture like hand-cut papaya does. Time to dum the Som Tam with a bit of salt, a little bit of garlic, some dry chili, 3 or 4 fresh chilies into the mortar and pestle. And now you just want to get these guys to have a bit of a chat with each other. You don't want to turn them into a paste. You just want to break them up and start mingling the flavours. With regards to a mortar and pestle, you just need to go to an Asian market or a Thai shop, and you can buy one of these for $20 or $30. They're made for making Som Tam, but you can also use them to make fabulous pesto or chimichurri or whatever. They're great. A worthwhile investment, and I would say I must have second mortar and pestle next to a normal green granite one. Okay, back to Som Tam. So I've chucked in the beans, you probably saw that. I'm just going to bruise them up the same. I want to break them, but I don't want to reduce them to a paste. It's just, we're not making a paste. I'm not going to say that again, I hope. And now I'm going to put in some sugar. I want to kind of work on the sweetness of the dish before I add the saltiness and before I add the sour. And what I'll do is I'll get a baseline for the sweetness, and then I'll start adding the salt, which is right here. This is the fermented fish sauce, or płar. I'm going to start by adding around about 2 tablespoons of płar, and that'll bring some salt, and I'll play around with that a little bit more once I start adding the sour and other ingredients, such as the MSG people, look away, everyone else, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of MSG there, and just a little tiny pinch of crab paste. That's pretty funky stuff. Don't want to go too heavy on that. You also don't want to go too light. Goldilocks is about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, and pound that all in. The next element we'll be adding will be sourness and a little bit of bitterness. We just grab a lime, roll it out nice and firmly, and just slice off a couple of cheeks, just like that, and squeeze in the juice. Once you've squeezed in the juice, chuck the cheeks in. Obviously we'll be getting sourness from the juice of the limes, but what the skins add is there's a little bit of that citrusy bitterness when we pound it with the pestle. Look, if you don't like bitter, just leave them out. But if you practice eating bitter, you get to like it. So my advice is just chuck it in. Ultimately, it's up to you. Enough of that, moving on. Time to amp it up a little bit now with some more płar. And probably a little bit more sourness. There we go. A good old squeeze. Don't chuck that in, you don't want to make it more bitter right now. Get your tomatoes in, break them up a little bit. They're going to bring a little tiny bit more sweetness and a little tiny bit more sourness, depending on how ripe they are or unripe they are. And of course the best way to find out what they've brung is to taste it. Now we just add a little bit more sweetness, and I think we might be there. Now look, you might be wondering why there seems to be so much faffing going on with this bloody Thai food, but the truth is that so many of these ingredients have variable flavours. The fruits and the vegetables, depending on the seasons, the saltinesses of your fish sauce, the level of heat intensity of your chilies, the bitterness of this eggplant that I'm cutting up right now. It all changes. It's never the same. There is no precise measurement. And because the flavours are so big and bold, you can easily go awry. And the best way to stay on track is to just keep tasting. And that's why we do it that way. That is my sermon for the day. I hope you learned something there. Moving on to actually making making the Som Tam with the green papaya. Here we go. Chuck it all in and just start pounding it with your pestle. Get a big old spoon and lift up the liquid in the bottom and kind of help distribute everything around. All you're doing here is bruising up that papaya, and what that does is that pulls all of the delicious flavours of the fish sauce and the lime and everything into the relatively flavourless strands of papaya. When I say relatively, if you have a taste of what green papaya is like without any dressing whatsoever, it tastes remarkably like absolutely nothing at all, which is perfectly fine. I mean, if Som Tam was a party, green papaya would probably be the venue and everything else would be the booze. Look, that may be a shitty metaphor, but it is definitely a wild party, and it's one that I strongly suggest attending at least once in your life. That's enough of that. Let's just get on a plate now, shall we? Here we go. Look at that. That looks like Som Tam. Yeah, nice. To be honest, I would have preferred to have a little bit more liquid in this, but that is absolutely fine. Let me just check to confirm that. We have a go. That is pretty bloody good. I reckon if we threw some pork crackle on the side though, it would be even better. Look at that. Yum. All we need to add is some sticky rice. Oop, and down. Take care of that. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's really good. Yeah, like I was saying, we just need some hot sticky rice, and that's an entire meal for one. Or you could pair it with a namtok. The recipe for that is above, and that would make an absolutely perfect dinner for two. That would look a little bit like this. Anyway, that is my recipe for today. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I really hope that you do make the effort to make it. It's extremely delicious, and it'll make your belly very happy. And that's it. Thanks again for watching. Bye.